What if, rather than Ron and Hermione, Harry Potter became best friends with Draco Malfoy? Would Harry become a fully fledged Slytherin? Would he eventually fall to the temptation of the dark arts? How would his relationship with Snape differ? And would he and Voldemort still eventually try to kill each other? Buckle in, folks, this is an unlikely story of how a friendship between two 11-year-olds changes everything. So Harry and Draco first meet at Madame Malkin's in Diagon Alley, and Harry immediately finds Draco to be pompous and insufferable. And then they have another interaction before getting sorted, in which Draco tries to tell Harry who he should and shouldn't be friends with. So imagine if Harry had warmed to Draco in these situations. Maybe Draco was slightly less of a pompous git, and Harry was slightly less of a decent person. They may have become friends in Madame Malkin's. Hell, if Malfoy had known Harry was famous when they were interacting then, he probably would have sucked up to him a bit. And they could have chatted for a while about Hogwarts and the wizarding world. So when it came to September 1st and they go to board the Hogwarts Express, maybe they look out for each other. I mean, at this point, Malfoy would be the only other student that Harry knew, and Harry's a famous person, something Draco would really value. So they find each other and they sit together on the Hogwarts Express, meaning Harry doesn't sit with Ron. He doesn't meet Hermione or Neville. So then, when Malfoy was telling Harry who he should and shouldn't be friends with in the wizarding world, if Malfoy wasn't directly insulting a friend that Harry had just made in Ron, as he does by talking about red hair and hand-me-down robes, well, Harry may be more open to the things that Malfoy is saying, and they may just become friends. So I know Hagrid told Harry that Slytherin was the evil house, but if Malfoy is his main friend on the way to Hogwarts, and Malfoy constantly talks about how great Slytherin is, maybe Harry doesn't push back against the sorting hat too much. He doesn't sit there in his head chanting, "Not Slytherin, not Slytherin." And without that, he may just be sorted into the greatest Hogwarts house of all time. But seriously, Harry may well go into Slytherin here, and if that happens, a lot changes. Firstly, Harry wouldn't join the Quidditch team. He and Malfoy are best friends now, so they wouldn't butt heads in flying class when Draco takes Neville's Remembrall. That means McGonagall never sees him demonstrate his abilities as a Seeker, and even if she did, well, it's not her house, so she wouldn't put him on the team. Additionally, Harry wouldn't be friends with Ron and Hermione. Without all the time spent together on the Hogwarts Express, in class, or in the common room, there's not really a chance for that friendship to flourish. And also, they wouldn't get together to plot to save the Philosopher's Stone. But more on that later. If Harry and Malfoy become best friends, and Harry was sorted into Snape's house, would Snape still hate Harry? Maybe. Harry is still James's son after all. And also, thanks to the prophecy, Snape would kind of consider Harry to be the reason Lily died, because he doesn't want to take responsibility for the fact that he's the one that overheard it and passed that information to Voldemort, which is why Voldemort was hunting down the Potters in the first place, but let's not get into the Snape hate right now. But with Harry befriending Malfoy and joining Slytherin, Snape may see less of James in him, and he may even see parts of Harry that he'd hoped Lily would be. You know, Snape wanted Lily to be in Slytherin with him, and here's Harry, her son, in Slytherin. And he's best friends with Malfoy, which means he's open to the pure blood way of thinking, maybe even open to the dark arts. The Lily that Snape wished he knew, he'd now be seeing parts of her in Harry. So, Snape may be less harsh towards Harry. Would they be best friends? Absolutely not. But would their relationship be slightly better than the one that we know from the book series? Almost certainly. So the Philosopher's Stone would never be stolen, but also Harry wouldn't save it. Without all the digging that he does with Hermione and Ron, and without the bad relationship with Snape, Harry probably never even thinks that Snape is trying to steal the stone. Therefore, he never feels the need to try and save it. So if Harry doesn't try to save the stone, well, Quirrell and Voldemort can never get it out of the Mirror of Erised in the first place. So Quirrell, with Voldemort on the back of his head, is probably just stood in that chamber, and then Dumbledore returns, just in time to defeat Quirrell and banish Voldemort. So for Harry and his best pal Draco, it's been kind of an uneventful first year. No Quidditch, no Philosopher's Stone, and no mortal enemy while they're at school. So what about the Chamber of Secrets? The Chamber of Secrets would still open in Harry's second year, and the first thing that happens would be around Harry's ability to talk to snakes. With Draco as his best friend, Draco could share all this information with Harry about Parselmouths, and its links to Slytherin, and maybe even to Voldemort. And with that information, maybe even Harry would believe himself to be the heir of Slytherin, at least for a little while. But since he never opened the chamber, and he never attacked any Muggleborns himself, maybe he and Malfoy would end up teaming up to try and solve the mystery of who opened the chamber. Would they ever find out it was Ginny? Maybe not. But I do think a rift would start to appear here between Harry and his new blonde BFF. Draco starts to revel in the fact that mudbloods are being attacked. And although they're best friends, and they would have had a lot of influence over each other these past couple of years, I still don't think Harry would be into that sort of thing. The killing mudbloods thing, not really his vibe. So a rift begins to open between the two of them. Either way, and there's no easy way to segue into this, Ginny Weasley probably dies, without Harry having Ron and Hermione's help to follow the spiders, to figure out the whole pipes thing. I don't think Harry solves the mystery, because if he's best friends with Malfoy, and not with Hermione and Ron, there's no need for the whole Polyjuice Potion plan, meaning they never interact with Myrtle, find the diary, or figure out where the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets is. So Harry never solves the mystery, and he never takes Lockhart into the chamber. So Ginny probably dies down there, meaning Tom Riddle from the diary gains full control of his body. So Voldemort is back, albeit a younger, less powerful version, but still Voldemort. He returns, and he can immediately put his plan in motion. And this is when that little rift between Harry and Draco becomes a big rift, with the Malfoys at the center of Voldemort's plan. And Voldemort's plan being to get the prophecy and then kill Harry. Harry's probably not going to want to spend much time with his BFF anymore. And Draco probably doesn't want his parents, or the newly returned Dark Lord, to know that he's best friends with Voldemort's mortal enemy. Harry, meanwhile, will be very lonely. No Ron, no Hermione, no Sirius. Yet. And we'll talk about that again in a minute. No DA, no Order of the Phoenix. And now, even though he doesn't quite know it yet, he's being hunted by the most dangerous dark wizard of all time. And he's still only just turned 13. It's a tough time for Harry. So with Voldemort's return, lots of bad things are going to start happening, just as they do in the Order of the Phoenix onwards. Crucially, that means the Daily Prophet has more important things to be writing about than the Weasleys winning the lottery and going to Egypt. And without that being in the Daily Prophet, Sirius never sees the picture of Scabbers identifying him as Peter Pettigrew, so Sirius would never leave Azkaban. Now with Voldemort's return, the Dementors would probably abandon the prison to go and work for him. And that means there could still be a mass breakout of Azkaban, so all the Death Eaters, including Bellatrix, could escape and return to Voldemort. But despite that, I think Sirius stays put. Sirius felt like he deserved this punishment for not being able to save his friends. And without revenge against Peter as a motivation to break out, I think Sirius just sits tight and imposes his own Azkaban sentencing upon himself. So look, there's no easy way to skirt around this. Harry is 13 years old. He has no support system, no friends, no family, no godfather. Dumbledore hasn't done much in the way of nurturing him yet, and there's no DA. And with all of that, he's being hunted by the most powerful dark wizard of all time. Sure, Dumbledore may start up the Order of the Phoenix here, in an attempt to defend Harry, but without Harry's relationship with the Weasleys, without Lupin reintegrating into society as the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, without Tonks being old enough to graduate from the Aura's office, without Sirius out of Azkaban, the Order isn't exactly at full strength. Not to mention they haven't even discovered the Horcruxes yet, not even the diary. Meanwhile, Voldemort is at full strength and he's coming for Harry. And he doesn't even have Harry's blood running through his veins, which preserves Harry's mother's protection, and that's what saved him when Voldemort killed him in the Forbidden Forest during the Deathly Hallows. So, Harry's days are numbered. And frankly, if I was Harry in this scenario, I'd be grateful for things to just be over. Because ever since he became friends with Draco, his life has just been a miserable little road leading to his inevitable death. And speaking of inevitable,
I am inevitable.
What if Thanos' snap in the MCU had killed the other 50% of people? How would things change? Well, I investigated that scenario in this video here, so feel free to check that out next.